Hello, today we're going to be discussing some recent trade rumors going on around the NBA about what would be in those trades and how likely I believe they are to actually happen. So the format of this video will basically be me giving some details on the trade, what I think of it, and then a likelihood rating from 1 to 5. So first, let's talk about LeBron to the Mavs or Kyrie to the Lakers. Both of these, I just don't see them happening. There's cap issues. I don't think Kyrie will take a smaller contract. And I think the Lakers are more keen on running it back with those same role players. So, like, getting Reeves and Rui back, that's going to be their main focus. Unless Kyrie Irving was for some reason willing to take a pay cut for, like, D'Lo money, which I just don't see happening. I don't think this is going to happen. So I'm going to give that a likelihood rating of 1. So now I'm going to go on a bit of a spiel about Bradley Beal, and I think first off we have to talk about the Sixers, who I like the fit next to Embiid, but it's been reported that they do not have any interest in Beal, so let's give that a likelihood rating of about a 1. Next, the Heat obviously need some more offense, but I really don't know if Beal actually fixes this problem. His game is pretty similar to Jimmy's offensively at this point, because it's a lot of driving inside and being efficient at the free throw line. And we have to remember, Beal has not shot 40% from 3 since playing with John Wall. So really, we have to take a look and see if his shooting can actually hold up. It could potentially open up more being next to a guy like Jimmy, because he hasn't been with a guy on that level since Wall. But I don't know. I think the Heat could get overcapped, but I still think this is probably the most likely team for Beal, and I think with the new Washington GM, they are going to trade Beal. So I'm going to give this a likelihood rating of about a 4. The next team may be interested in Beal is the Trailblazers. This just kind of seems like CJ McCollum 2.0. I don't think the defense would be good enough. I think Bradley Beal has been a really bad off-ball defender, and next to Dame, I don't think you can hide both of them, and I don't see it working out on the defensive side of the ball, because that's always been the Blazers' problem, basically. And I also wonder, with the Blazers' current package with Simons, Sharp, and the 3rd overall pick, I feel like you can get a bit more than Bradley Beal. I'm going to be honest. If they end up trading for a young player with that 3rd overall pick who's making less money, I could see them trying to move Simons and Sharp to get him, and maybe some picks if they have any of those left, and figuring that sort of thing out. But I'm just not sure. I do think this could once again reopen Beal's game being next to a great shooter like that, because he's really never been surrounded by shooting. And I think seeing Dame off ball again could be really good. But I just don't see this as a great trade for the Blazers. So I'm going to give this a 3.5 likelihood. Next, let's talk about Zion. The two teams that have mainly been rumored with him are the Hornets and Trailblazers. I really would be interested to see him on the Hornets, because him next to Bridges and Williams would be one of the most athletic front courts we've ever seen. And we've already seen how Williamson behaves next to a great playmaker. And I think Ball surrounded by that amount of athleticism could make for some beautiful basketball, although I think already having Ball being injury prone, putting in Zion next to him, would they be able to play, I don't know, 60 games together, if that? I also question what the Pelicans are getting in this. Do they just believe Scoot Henderson is better than Zion at this point? I'm assuming it would probably be 2nd pick, where they would take Scoot and then plus Gordon Hayward to make the contract situation work. And I think getting a forward like Hayward would be good if you really believe in Scoot Henderson, because then if you have Scoot and Brandon Ingram for the future, along with the progression we've seen from their young guys, that could be a really good thing. But is it better than the 21-year-old that scored 27 points per game on like crazy good true shooting? I'm not sure. It's really always the injury question. So I'm going to give a likelihood for Zion to the Hornets about a 2. And then next we're going to talk about the Trailblazers again. I think the offense next to Dame, it would be a really good inside-outside game, because the spacing that Dame provides, especially if they could somehow keep Simons, Dame, Simons, and Zion, would be an amazing offense to watch. But I think the real problem is once again going to be defense. I really don't know if that'll do it. I also wonder. I'm a big fan of Scoot Henderson. Would the Pelicans be willing to do this even for Miller? Because I'm not sure if Miller's that guy as much as Scoot Henderson is. So I also wonder who are the Trailblazers putting at the 3 spot, because they really have struggled in terms of cycling between people like Winslow, Thibault, Watford, Nasir Little. Like, none of these guys have consistently been the 3-and-D guys that the Blazers have always wanted, so we kind of got to worry about that as well. But I think it would make for a really interesting offense if we do see that, and I'm going to give that a likelihood rating of about a 2 as well. Next, let's get into a few Jaylen Brown rumors. I think there's a messy contract situation with Brown right now. I think we're questioning, can he be the second option on a championship team? I'm not sure if that's a yes or a no. I mean, we've seen them get to the finals and then nearly back to it 2 years in a row, and I think it's hard to blow that up. But I don't know if the Celtics can keep up this production with Al Horford aging. So, I don't know. I think if they were going to take a shot at another star, they should have just shot with Kevin Durant this season. I don't know. I'm not sure if a Dame trade would be possible, because I don't know if Damian Lillard is that much better than Jaylen Brown to the point in which that immediately makes them that much better of a contender, if that makes sense. Because I think then you're running a really small lineup too, because you've got White, Brogdon, Smart, and Dame. Those guys are all pretty small, and they all need minutes because they're all really good players. So I think you'd have to kind of dedicate yourself to a really kind of small lineup. But I think the Celtics have made that work in the past, so I'm going to say Jaylen Brown to the Blazers for either Dame, or maybe even Simons and picks if they really want to make the role players around Jason Tatum just like very elite. That could be another potential route, but I still think that's about a 2.5. I don't think that's super likely, but I could also see it happening. Next, we got to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. Once again, Al Horford is aging, and they need more offense in that front court, because I don't think Williams is really an inspiring offensive player. I love his defense, but offensively, he's kind of challenged. I think if they could get something like McDaniels and Towns, I think I would absolutely pull the trigger on a Brown trade. But I also think, I'm not sure if the Timberwolves would offer that, because McDaniels is coming off a wonderful season, and I think he fits really next to Anthony Edwards. But I really think that they might be trying to change things up because of the 8th seed, but I also think they should wait. They only played 30 games together, Gobert, Towns, and Edwards. I think the Timberwolves should run it back and see. But if there's a lot of pressure, there's new ownership, then I think, trade Towns. That's the only route, because no one's getting that Gobert contract back, and you're obviously not trading Edwards. So I'm going to give that about a 2.5 as well. I've also heard some rumors about Cat to the Blazers, where it's obviously still the Simons, maybe Sharp plus picks package for Cat, but I just don't see. I feel like, once again, the offense hasn't really been the problem for the Blazers, and I don't think. I think Cat's defense is a little underrated. I think people just think he's freaking trash on that side, and I don't think he is. But I still think that I think the Blazers probably don't become contenders, because I don't think the Damian Lillard, Karl-Anthony Towns pairing is good enough to win an NBA championship. I just don't. I don't see that as a possibility, especially with the poor defenders that would be around them, because once again, they've got 3 guys and they've got D guys, but they struggle to really find that good pairing. So I'm going to give this a likelihood rating of a 2. And a final disclaimer, I'm not saying any of these trades would look exactly like this, or that any of them would for sure happen, but I'm just giving some speculation on the basis of what we know, and seeing what could be possible. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and peace.